I want to talk to you about banks that work with bad credit this year. Let's have a conversation about that. So, here's a list I want you to really pay attention to. So, if you're looking for banks that work with bad credit, I want you to really first think about Sofi. And Sofi is actually is not a traditional bank. This is a neo bank. This is a fintech, but this is pretty good. So, you are basically able to open an account online, not a problem. And Sofi is actually a great bank that works with bad credit and has been doing so for the last 5 to 10 years. And they were actually more prominent during COVID, by the way, about 5 years ago. So Sofi will consider you whether you have 300 or 550 as FICO score. So that's really good, okay? And I'm talking here about when I say banks that work with bad credit, I'm talking about offering personal loans, but also business loans. So this is really good. Now, Sofi does not offer a business loan yet. They're pretty good when it comes to helping you open a bank account, okay? And also, and it doesn't matter if you have a check systems sort of mark. That's really not a problem, okay? So with Sofi, you can get a personal loan. You can open a checking account, also a savings account with a pretty good yield, by the way. The yield can go all the way to a 4.5%. In terms of personal loan, you can actually, if you have bad credit, you can get a maximum of 35.99%. But the cool thing is that Sofi will actually work with you, not a problem. So one of the reasons why we love Sofi is that Sofi has been around for a while, and Sofi really wants to help its users. By the way, Sofi stands for social finance. So you have a lender that's very flexible when it comes to FICO score sort of consideration. The cool thing also is that if you want to borrow through Sofi, you have the possibility to actually pre-qualify. So if you go to Sofi's website, you have the ability to have a soft pull. Okay, you can have a soft pull, and based on the offer that you have, you can decide to actually go with a hard pull or not. Okay, now, in terms of the checking accounts and savings accounts, you are able to get qualified. You can actually open a checking account and savings account right away, and you can do so either online or through the Sofi app. Fantastic. If you're looking for banks that work with bad credit this year, I want you to think about Navy Fed. Now, Navy Fed is a credit union, so this means that you need to actually become a member of Navy Fed to actually qualify for its products and services. Okay, so the cool thing about Navy Fed is that Navy Fed is really a quasi bank. In other words, it has the main products and services that a regular bank will have. As a matter of fact, Navy Fed is the best, if not the largest credit union in the whole world, by the way. The only thing is with Navy Fed, you got to have an affiliation with the military to actually qualify for a membership. So if you have nobody in the military, if you have no relative in the military, if you don't work for DoD or for the National Reserve, you might actually find it pretty complicated when it comes to becoming a member. But if you luckily have some kind of affiliation with the military, you are good to go. Okay, and so in terms of working with bad credit, Navy Fed will work with all kinds of credits. But the thing is that if you have a pretty low credit score, Navy Fed might give you a personal loan, but the APR will be high, and also the amount you'll be qualified for will be very limited. Okay, so but the possibilities are there for sure. And with Navy Fed, you can have a personal loan, you can have a business loan. Even though for the business loan, the requirements are stricter. For instance, Navy Fed will give you a business line of credit or even a business loan, but it might actually ask you to pledge a personal guarantee. So this is a little bit problematic. And also on the personal side, you can open a business checking account. You can open a personal checking account. Not a problem with Navy Fed, okay? And there is no minimum deposit requirements, so you can open a checking account with $1 if you want to, okay? And there is no monthly maintenance fee. That's really cool. So overall, a fantastic institution. No minimum opening deposit or balance requirements. No monthly fee. Branch banking access. Member benefits including discounts on insurance, car rentals, and more. So that's really fantastic. Now, on the flip side, you have low API and you also have limited branch locations. So, something to think about. If you're looking for banks that work with bad credit this year, I want you to think about CapitalOne. And CapitalOne actually is pretty good when it comes to working with you, regardless of your credit score. The only thing is, CapitalOne doesn't have personal loans as of now. And but CapitalOne, think about CapitalOne more as a quasi online bank. Of course, they do have branch locations, brick and mortar locations in a certain number of states, but probably 10 states. But CapitalOne likes to position itself more as an online bank. Okay, so everything happens online. You can open a checking account online. You can open a business checking account, a personal checking account, a savings account online. Not a problem. So, but just remember that CapitalOne does not actually issue personal loans as of now. They will grant you a business loan if you actually if you fulfill certain requirements, including actually being in business for at least 2 years. So CapitalOne doesn't really serve startups as of now. So something to really think about. Okay, but overall, you have a pretty flexible bank. Okay, a pretty strong bank, by the way. I mean, CapitalOne is known mostly for its credit cards. It's known more for its credit cards than its banking products, but it's still a bank anyway. Okay, so if you were to go with CapitalOne banking, the checking accounts, basically there is an account called CapitalOne 360 checking account. That's really the best, one of the best bank accounts for those who want to avoid check systems because it won't cost you a penny to use. Okay, and so this no fee checking account doesn't charge monthly service fee, and also doesn't charge many incidental banking fees. So that's really good if you are looking for a holistic offer. Okay, and so with the CapitalOne is actually best for those who want an account with no fees, and could also be a great fit for those who want to do all their bankings at one institution. Okay, and CapitalOne is a full service bank with an extensive product suite that includes standout credit cards. So this is kind of cool. So if you're looking for a bank that works with bad credit, go with CapitalOne. If you're looking for banks that work with bad credit this year, I want you to consider actually Chase. And Chase is another great institution. Now, you might be thinking, well, Chase is a big bank, if not the largest bank in the States. Are you sure they're working with bad credit? Yes, they are working with bad credit. Okay. Now, of course, Chase doesn't have personal loans as of now. When it comes to business loans, of course, the conditions are stricter, that's for sure. But the Chase will work with you if you have bad credit in terms of allowing you to open a checking account. Okay, so you have something called Chase Secure Banking. So this is actually a product that actually allows you to open a relationship with Chase, and this is kind of cool. So we like this account because you can use it to pay bills, deposit checks, and send money. And while you won't earn interest, you will get access to some valuable in-app benefits to help you save. Okay, the Chase Spending Planner tool, for example, lets you track your spending, set a budget, and follow your progress. And this account has no overdraft fees because you can only spend what you have. Okay, so now what we don't like is that this account is unlike other bank accounts for bad credit in that it has a monthly fee, and we don't like the fact that it isn't really offset by interest earnings. However, the small fee of a few dollars per month may be worth it for the increased access Chase really offers. I mean, so Chase is charging you $4.95, so $4.95. Okay, so when you think about this account, no minimum opening deposits or balance requirements, no overdraft fees, extensive network of Chase branches and ATMs. I mean, Chase is the number one bank in the nation. So this counts for something. This amounts to something. You have a highly rated mobile app with budgeting features, so that's kind of cool. On the flip side, just do not expect to earn interest through this account. And also, no overdraft protection means transactions may be declined. So just be aware of that, okay? But certain services are not available with Chase Secure Banking. This includes overdraft, check writing, wire transfers, and access to a safe deposit box. So this is something to really think about. If you're looking for banks that work with bad credit, I want you to think about Chime this year. So Chime is actually a neobank. In other words, it is an online bank. And Chime doesn't actually offer a person. I mean, they do have a personal loan, but this is not like a regular personal loan or a large amount. By the way, it's more like a cash advance. And Chime doesn't actually offer a business loan either. Okay, so Chime is actually good when it comes to banks that work with bad credit, in the sense that you are able to open an account regardless of your credit score or even your check system profile. Okay, and so we chose Chime's checking account as one of the best bank account for bad credit because it offers a fee-free banking with easy-to-use mobile tools. So that's really good. You can apply for the account with no impact on your credit score and no peek at your check system's file. And it includes a host of helpful features here. So we love Chimes because Chimes Spot Me feature is a unique overdraft service that lets you overdraw your account up to $200 fee-free, and it's available to anyone who meets direct deposit requirements. So, for instance, you can also get paid up to 2 days early with this account. It has no minimums, no service fees, no overdraft fees, and no ATM fees, and more than you have 60,000 locations. So that's really powerful. You can also deposit cash at Walgreens locations without a fee. So without a fee, I want to insist on that. So what we don't like is that Chime doesn't offer a full suite of banking products. So if you want to do all your banking in one place, you should really look elsewhere, especially because Chime doesn't give you a business loan or a personal loan for that matter, okay? And Chime doesn't have also a business checking account, by the way. So, but overall, this is a great tool, and this is a decent platform, really. So Chime is really great for you if you need additional overdraft protection, and if you want to open a second chance savings account with the same bank as your checking account. Okay, so think about Chime in terms of a highly rated mobile app. That's really for sure. You have tools that help you automate your savings goals. You have few fees. You are able to receive direct deposits up to 2 days early, so that's really cool. And so you have a Spot Me feature that allows for up to $200 in fee-free overdrafts. Fantastic. On the flip side, customer service is not available always, and the account doesn't pay interest. So something to really think about. So I just shared with you the 5 banks that work with bad credit this year. So what are the facts here? When you think about banks that work with bad credit, you have to really understand that you have a correlation between your check system account, but also your credit score. This is why some of those banks are usually they are usually offering second chance bank accounts, okay? So bank accounts for bad credit are designed for people who need a fresh start when you really think about it. And so often referred to second chance bank accounts, this come with many of the same features as traditional checking accounts, but are more lenient toward negative marks and or they don't use check systems, an agency that monitors consumer banking histories to screen applications. So while check systems doesn't include your credit history in your file, your credit and poor banking histories often go hand in hand. Now, can you open a bank account with bad credit? That's for sure. Yes, you can open a bank account if you've made banking mistakes or have bad credit, but you may need to look for accounts that won't use check systems if you are worried about your banking history overall. So your check systems provide a snapshot of your banking history, okay, including things like negative activities like involuntary account closures, unpaid fees, or overdraft, as well as a summary of times you have applied for new accounts. You might have a check systems file. You might not have file at all if you have always kept your account in good standing, but you will likely have a report if you've ever misused bank accounts. That's for sure. And this is across the board, by the way. Banks do not check your credit when you apply for a checking account or savings account, but they often check your banking history with check systems. And while check systems doesn't report on credit, banking and credit histories can tell similar stories about your finances. Just as bad credit score can indicate problems with debt, a poor check systems file may indicate trouble using bank accounts responsibly. But this doesn't mean that you are stuck if you need an account, right? Now, how do you actually get let's say a bank account with bad credit? Well, you want to first look for you want to find a bank that fits your needs. Online banks can be better for bad credit and second chance banking, not only because they typically charge fewer fees and have lower minimums than traditional banks, but also because many don't use check systems to screen applicants. So this is really cool. And you want to consider the accounts on this list, which have been selected for people with negative banking histories. Next, you want to apply to open the bank account you have chosen by providing the following information: full name, date of birth, mailing address, email address, okay, phone number, government issued ID, and social security number. So now let me give you a few tips for improving your credit score, because there is a correlation between your ability to actually open a bank account and also have you have a perfect credit score. Now, of course, when I speak about banks that work with bad credit, it's not just about opening an account. It's also about obtaining loans, lines of credit, and all forms of credit. And again, when I speak about loans and lines of credit, I'm speaking about personal, but also business wise. So if you want to get a business line of credit, you also have to make sure that your credit score, your personal credit score, is actually impeccable, because banks and credit unions, among other institutions, are going to check your personal finances to make sure that you are legit, quote unquote legit. Okay, so you always want to pay your bills on time or early every month. Very important. You want to check your credit score and credit report and report on any errors that you may find. It's one of those things where you just never know. If there are errors in your credit file, you want to really spot them as soon as possible by going to a website called annualcreditreport.com. And actually, it's kind of free though. You can have your credit score for free. And you also want to work on paying down large loans and credit card balances. You want to use only as much credit as you need. Okay, that's really important. You want to limit new accounts and hard credit inquiries also. So if you're trying to rebuild credit, consider a secured credit card. This requires cash deposits to open and establish your credit limits, and they can help you build your credit history safely over time. Okay, so that's going to help you actually come back in the game, by the way. So as closure in today's conversation, I spoke to you about banks that work with bad credit. I give you the list, the facts, and the closure. So the list, you have Sofi, Navy Fed, CapitalOne, Chase, and Cham. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.